Welcome back. My name is Python Financial. Today's task is on how to freeze rows and columns. How to freeze rows and columns in Microsoft Excel. Before I go further with today's lesson, I would like to encourage you guys to subscribe to my channel on Mr. Python Financial Office Tutorial, so that you keep on watching these tutorials, which will gonna help to improve your skills when working with Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. As I have already said earlier, that today's work is on how to freeze rows and columns. So to freeze rows, it means maybe you want to freeze a certain row. It means once you have freeze that one, that row will stay still while you are scrolling. To maybe I have frozen this column, right? Once upon freezing this column, if I scroll to the right, I'm scrolling to the right. I'm scrolling like that, then you're gonna see that this row will stay still while the others are moving, right? That's how to freeze. That's for freezing. Maybe you want to freeze a row like this one. So if you are scrolling downwards, you're gonna see that this row will stay still while the others are moving. So something like that. So to freeze is to let that part you have selected, you have chosen, to stay still while others are moving. So the freezing of rows and columns, it is used maybe when you want to compare data. Maybe you are entering data in your Excel spreadsheet like this. You have rate here you have rate there is a customer ID, customer name. So maybe because the data is huge, you have reached it to a certain point like here. So you cannot know where there is a company name. Maybe you are confused. So to make sure that you are not confused, you're gonna freeze the top row where there is a company and where there is company name, the top row, the heading, the heading row, the low heading. This one, you're gonna freeze that one. And once you are scrolling down here, you're gonna see that top line will remain on top there. And when you are entering your data, you will not get confused, something like that. So freezing of rows and columns is very useful when entering data, even when comparing data in Microsoft Excel spreadsheet. So let me show you how to freeze a row and how to freeze column and how to freeze all both of them at once. So for you to freeze a row and column, first of all, you go to the view tab like here. I am already there. Go to the view tab. Upon going there, you're gonna see that there is something somewhere here. There is a freeze panes under the window, here, under window here. So here we have there is freeze panes. I'm gonna click where there is freeze panes like this one. One of the freeze panes there, you're gonna see that we have freeze panes, freeze top row, freeze first column, something like that. So when freezing, you use these two. So let me freeze a certain row. So for example, I want to freeze this row, the top row. I want to freeze it when I'm scrolling down so that it will have to stay still. So to freeze it, I'm gonna click it like that. I'm gonna click somewhere. So I can't click in the same row. I click anywhere below the I will click anywhere in the second row. For example, this is the second row, right? So because I want to freeze this row, the first row, I will click here, right? And you go where there's freeze panes like that, and then freeze top row. So I want to freeze the top row. I'm gonna click that. See, upon clicking freeze the first row, you're gonna see that the line here has changed. The line itself has changed. It looks a little bit in bold. Like you can't if you compare this one that one, you're gonna see that they are different in color. This one is brighter. This one it looks like faded like line, like something like that. So here now we have frozen our first row. And if we are scrolling down as here, we're gonna see that our first row will still remain on top there. So maybe we were entering your data and we were confused what to press here and that, but because you have frozen it, you will be able to see the top headings and what to write below that. Get it? So that's it. How to freeze how to freeze a top row. That's it. I froze it. So maybe I want to unfreeze it. Because I want to unfreeze it, I will go where there is freeze again there and just click unfreeze like that. We see that now it's unfreezing. If I scroll down here, we see that the first row is vanishing, is moving with the other rows, something like that. See, so I'll repeat how to freeze row, first row, how to freeze the first row. At first I click on the row. I want to freeze the first row, and I click, I selected the first row. I selected the second row, or I can say that I selected the row below the first row, like that. Here, even if I click, I select this one. See, then go there where there is freeze panes, click it, and say I want to freeze the first row. You're gonna click where there is first row like that. Now you have frozen it, and we'll scroll it down like that. We see that your row is still there, but if you scroll to the right, that row is still there, because you have it to freeze the is now moving, because you have it to freeze the column. But if you did freeze the columns, scrolling this one, we're gonna see that that column will still remain there. But now we have frozen the top row. Now if you scroll downwards, you will see that the frozen row is still there. So now I want to unfreeze it. That's it, how to freeze the top row, how to freeze the top row and unfreeze the top row. Guys, if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe to Mr. Faison Financial Office Tutorials, so that you keep on watching these fantastic tutorials. In continuation, let me show you on how to freeze the row, how to freeze the first row. So to freeze the first row, first you go or on the view tab again, and you're gonna select the anywhere in the second anywhere. Here is our first row, right? So because I want to freeze the first row, so here is our first column. So because I want to freeze this first column, I'm gonna click anywhere in the second column, like here. Then I will select anywhere, any cell in the second column, and then go where there's freeze panes, like that. Then you select freeze first column, like that. We see that the line now has changed as compared to this one. This one is a little bit bold as compared to this one, which looks like a faded line, something like that. So if you scroll down, if you scroll to the right like this, you see that your first column is still there, it's not moving while others are moving. So that's it, we have frozen the first column. To unfreeze it, we will do the same as what we did in unfreezing columns. We go where there's freezing panes down there, like that, and say unfreeze. But upon doing so, you will see that now I have unfreezing it. See, so freezing and unfreezing rows and columns. That's it. So maybe you want to freeze both of them, rows and columns, at once, so you can freeze it. You want to freeze rows and columns at once, you can do that. So for example, I want to freeze only the custom ID, company name, and address one, to freeze it from here. So because I want to freeze all the rows, this is 17 rows, I want to freeze 17 rows, and I want to freeze these A, B, C columns. So I will go here, this is 17, so 17 is within the range I want to freeze. So I will go below that one like this, and click where there is freeze panes again, and I will click freeze panes, not freezing top row, not freezing first row, but I'll only click where there's freeze panes, like that. You see that the line now has come, like here, the line, this one is bordered, bordered, the bordered line, and this one, the border line, is where we have frozen it. So if you scroll down here, we see that your top rows, your 17 rows are still there, are still intact, while others are moving, like that. Maybe if that's it, how you have frozen your this is 70 rows has been frozen. If you scroll to the right like this one, we see that your 3 rows, your 3 columns has been frozen, like that, while others keep on moving, but that column is still there. these three columns are still there. That's how to freeze both rows and columns. So to unfreeze, you're gonna go where there's freeze panes again here and say unfreeze. We see that now you have unfreeze it. Now you have unfreezing your rows and columns. That's it. So before when I was introducing this topic, I told you that you're gonna use the freezing panes when maybe you want to compare your data in your spreadsheet. For example, I give you an example of saying that I want to show the top 10, but the 10th number, the 10th, for example, the 10th company is Martin Restaurant. This is the which is on the low 17th. So I want to compare them. So because I want to compare them, I'm gonna freeze some up a certain part. For example, this one here will have 9, top 9. That's it, but the 10th one is this one. So I'll freeze the top 9. Only the top 9 will appear here, so that once I will scroll down, this 16th one will come here where there's a 10th. Not like this will come on row 10, but row 10 will vanish, while this one will still be there. So let me show how to do this. Let me show you how to do that. So we go where I want to freeze this one. I will freeze the entire table like that. So here we have 17, I mean the 9th row. I will go where there is 10th row, and I will go here on column L like that. I'll select it. So I selected it, so I will freeze this one. So and I say freeze rows out here, and I freeze rows and columns like that. If I scroll down here, we see that all the rows are vanishing, right? Are moving, but the top 9 company names, or the top 9 rows will still be there like that. These 9 rows are still there. So I want to compare, as I was trying to say, that I want to compare the 9th, top 10, right? Top 10. I was saying about the top 10. Okay, I have highlighted it. I have frozen the wrong thing. The long press. I was saying that I want only this one to vanish, but this one to appear, still be appearing. So I'm gonna select somewhere like here, that one, and freeze it up. Freeze it like that. Upon freezing it, and I'm gonna compare it, see, and I'm gonna put this on 16th, this 16th there. See, this 16, the 16 now is appearing. It seems like it's already in that, is still in that range. Consider that we have our other hidden data there. See, you can scroll down, and it reaches where you want it, and then you're gonna compare your data based on that one. So freezing panes is used to when you are entering your data, so that you can't confuse where to press address 1 or where to press address 2. Another one, you use it when you want to compare data. You want to compare it data, and so many other ways of using it. So freezing panes, this is how to freeze panes and how to unfreeze panes. Guys, if you are not yet subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe to Mr. Faison Financial Office Tutorials, so that you keep on watching these fantastic tutorials. Have a good day.